Hello everyone and welcome back to the Cozy Corner. My name is Lee and this is my library. So grab a mug of something yummy and settle in for some talk of books. It is the end of the month, which means everyone is hurriedly posting all of their statistics and wrap-ups and TBRs for the new month, and in what is rapidly becoming my favorite video series to film, it is time to play another installment of the TBR Raffle. If you are new and you don't know what this game is, it is basically an elaborate drawing system that I created to make sure that I'm tackling books that I genuinely actually want to read or am interested in. And so I put my extensive want to read list in all of these lovely little mason jars, all organized by genre. And every month I draw 6 titles, which will become the sort of core part of my TBR list for the year. So every month, like I said, I draw 6 titles. The first sort of category that I draw from is the My Choice genre. Because this is a randomized drawing, I want to make sure that I give myself a little bit of control. And so the genre that I want to read from in the month of July is classics. So we will be drawing from the classics jar, which I happen to know is one of the most full. And there could be 101 ways that this goes. And then the second slot is from my reread jar, which are all of the books on my shelves that I have read over the years that I want to reread again and decide if I actually want to keep, so I can make room for incoming books. The third slot that I fill is from my personal TBR, which is over here on these black shelves. They are books that either have been gifted to me or I have bought from like gift cards or what have you, that are dedicated gifts that I genuinely want to get to because I want to honor the fact that people loved me enough to buy me a book. So I will draw one from that particular pile. And then in the 3 remaining spots, we will draw from the genre jar, and then from those genres, we will draw a title. Now, one thing I always want to point out, because this has happened to me multiple months in a row now, reread, personal TBR, and classics, the My Choice genre, are all in this jar. So I could draw multiple of the same genre, which has happened more times than not. So it's always kind of a wild card when we get to the genre jar. One thing I do want to say is that this game is fully customizable to meet whatever goals and things you want for the year. So like I said, my 2 goals were to tackle rereading some stuff on my shelves and tackling my personal TBR. So that's why I love this game, because it takes all of the stress away from deciding what you want to read, because you know that these books are stuff that you're generally interested in. And that's what I wanted to make sure I did this year, was to focus on reading stuff that I know I want to read, while also making sure that my taste is diverse enough that I don't become too single track in what I read. So I love these videos so much. They're becoming pretty much the only thing that I reliably film. This year I'm also doing my first ever read-a-thon. I know it's hard to believe that I've been on BookTube now for almost 2 years and I have yet to do someone else's read-a-thon. I've kind of designed my own because I wanted to play around with it a little bit, but this is the first time I'm ever like, yes, I am participating, we are going whole hog. And it's because it's Summerween. Yes, okay. I have merch. I have my books picked out and ready to go. So if you don't know, Summerween is hosted by Gabby Reads and Olivia Reads a Latte, 2 of my favorite channels on BookTube, and it runs from July 15th to July 21st, I believe. Yes. And there are prompts to fulfill. There's not that many. It keeps them super short, but it's just a fun week of Halloween stuff in the summertime. Halloween is my favorite holiday. I go all out every year. I already have stuff planned for this year. It's going to be so much fun, and it's just a cool way to celebrate the spooky in the middle of summer. I love it. So without further ado, let's get into the July TBR raffle, shall we? And also, because I have put some of these books in there from a few years ago, I don't remember what they are about, honestly. So I have my computer here to look up stuff on Goodreads and make sure that I know what these books are about, so I can give you guys a description. I don't want to leave you hanging. But we are going to start with the My Choice genre, which is classics. Here she is. Look how full. Ooh, almost spilled. There's so many in here. And, you know, classics is just such one of those wide genres where, you know, there's romance and thriller and mystery and sci-fi and fantasy. You know, think it just means like, oh, honestly, sometimes I think classics just means old. Because it is such a diverse genre. I want this one. Okay, here we go. This one on the outside, yep, right here. Okay, what is it? I'm really hoping it's not a big one. Okay. Oh, okay. I already know how I'm gonna read this one too. Okay, I drew Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. I have never actually read this book. I think I have read the Disneyified version because I used to have a big bound book of story versions of all of the Disney movies, and Alice in Wonderland was in there. And I have seen the Tim Burton movies, and obviously the Disney animated. But I have yet to actually read Lewis Carroll's Alice Adventures in Wonderland. I'm gonna see if I can find an audiobook of this, because I think this will be a really wonderful story to listen to being told. I did the same thing with A Christmas Carol, and I loved it because Jim Dale narrated it, and so I'm kind of wanting these sort of more fantastical stories to be on audiobooks. So that's a great first choice. Oh, I love it. Okay, great. I wonder if I could also maybe find Alice Through the Looking Glass. Maybe. We'll see. Okay, if any of you don't know the story of Alice in Wonderland, where have you been? Basically, this girl Alice is out, I think, with her sister, and she falls asleep and basically dreams this magical world, Wonderland, and she meets all of these crazy characters and has all these, honestly, LSD-inspired dreams. And then meets the Queen of Hearts, who is like the key villain in the story, and tries to basically escape from Wonderland back to her real life. A very Wizard of Oz kind of story, if I'm being completely honest. Although I did learn, and guess which show I learned this from? Warehouse 13, that cult classic. That Alice is actually a real character, like a real person, that Lewis Carroll met in an insane asylum. And these stories she told are what eventually became Alice in Wonderland. I don't know if that's actually true or if it's just a conspiracy theory, but what an insane start to this beloved children's classic. Isn't that always the way? You know, the Grimm's fairy tales became some of the most beloved kids' movies, and they were dark and gruesome stories. Anyway, great first start to the month of July. Okay, let's, do I want to do reread or personal TBR? Let's do personal TBR next. This jar right here, I know there are plenty. I actually picked up a few off of my personal TBR that might still be in here, so if I draw them, I'm gonna have to draw again. Okay, here we go. What do I want? This one. That was fast. Okay. Oh no! This is definitely a hand-scribbled one. It is East of Eden by John Steinbeck. Oh boy. Okay. Yikes. Where is it? Here it is, right in front. There she is, the Penguin Classics edition. Oh my goodness. This follows the story of two families, the Trasks and the Hamiltons, in the land of California's Salinas Valley. And this book, sort of in a modern setting, tells the story or reenacts the fall of Adam and Eve and the rivalry of Cain and Abel. So basically it's the first story, right, the creation of the world, told in a bit of like a Hatfields and McCoy's Montagues and Capulets type situation. So it sounds really interesting. I have heard it's a little dry. So it's also a big boy, over 500 pages, almost 600 pages. So I am excited because, you know, this is one of those like classics. Again, I've never read anything by John Steinbeck. This has been sitting on my TBR for a while. We'll see how it goes. Okay, next is reread. It could be a series. This has happened to me before. I'm already in the middle of so many series. You can't even believe it. Okay, here we go. Yeah, I want this one. This is the jar they gave me, the collected works of Edgar Allan Poe, and I'm not even halfway through that yet. This could be very good or very bad. Here we go. Why am I the most nervous for this one? Oh no! Okay. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh, I mean, it's so appropriate because East of Eden is about Adam and Eve. Oh no! Oh, the nightmare of my senior year of college. Paradise Lost. Oh no, I'm actually crying. Oh no, oh no. Okay, hang on. Give me a minute. Where's she at? There she is. There she is. Okay. Man. Yikes. Paradise Lost. I have not read this since, when was it? I think this was my early British literature class in college, which would have been, yeah, my last ever semester of college. Did I finish it? Absolutely not. Did I read most of it? Sure. Did I understand a lot of it? No. This follows the story of, well, I can't even say it follows the story, really. Milton was a weird guy. He was the first man alive to have read everything ever written. The only man alive to have ever read everything ever written. He was also blind, and dreamed this epic poem basically into existence, and had assistants who would come and he would tell them to milk him. And he would recite everything that he had dreamed up, and they would write it down for him. But basically it is about Lucifer's being cast out of heaven, the creation of hell. There is a little bit of Eden in there. It's kind of basically just the prequel to the Book of Revelation, you know, how this whole thing was created. It is, you know, it's what a lot of Good Omens probably is based on, that type of story of the creation of Earth and the presence of evil. It's going to be real interesting to read all of the notes I wrote in here for my class. There are footnotes, so, you know, it's going to be decent to read. I might read this with cliff notes. This is going to take me forever. I might have to read this in chunks. Okay, to be honest, this might be the first month that I don't like this game. East of Eden and Paradise Lost. What's gonna come next? Oh no. The genre polls. I need some fortification. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's get some light and fluffy and happy stuff that's easily digestible, you know? At least I can't redraw Paradise Lost again. Okay, here's the first genre. Here we go. Let's make it one we haven't picked yet from this year. Here we go. Oh! Aesthetic. Okay. Books all about aesthetic. So that features pretty prominently things like holidays or lifestyle, that kind of thing. That'll be a departure from the heavily classics that I've got going on right now. Okay, here's the next one. Second genre. Fine. Magical realism, which, if you don't know by now, is one of my least favorite genres. I don't know why, I just can't connect with magical realism. Remember how I said at the beginning of this video that they were books that I genuinely wanted to read? Okay, final genre. Here we go. Let's do this one. Here we go. What is it? Oh, okay. This will be nice. Faith! We're diving into the religion section. Okay. This is probably the most random month I've had, you know? Okay. I gotta get up for this one. Okay, hang on. I'm gonna pull the rest too. Let's just pull them all at the same time. I'm so sorry. I just bumped you. Are you okay? We're gonna go with aesthetic first. It is split with food. Thankfully, there aren't that many in here. There will probably be more like around fall or Christmas time. There's only 2 in here. I'm just gonna pick this one. Here we go. What is it? Oh, this is really good. Okay. Oh, this will be nice. Okay. So this is Cosy. And if you can tell by the spelling, this is, I believe, a like British cottagecore style book. Cosy, The British Art of Comfort. This is by Weir. So it basically is just sort of a contemplation on the British style of being cozy in a very modern, technologically advanced world. It focuses on things like home and hearth, textiles, pastimes, food, weather, with beautiful illustrations, just a lot of English lexicon. This book was actually written before Brexit, which was a very chaotic time in their history. And it happened much around our 2016-2020 elections. So tensions were high in both countries. So this is their Laura Weir's focus on returning to a more simpler time to enjoy the small things. And I'm really all about that at this point in my life. So that's a great addition. That'll be so good. Okay, love it. Let's draw from magical realism. There's not a lot in here. I wonder why, because it's not my favorite genre. To be fair, the last one I drew from here, which I think was The Peculiar Miracles of Antoinette Martin, was really good. I liked it. Okay, here we go. Let's go with this one. What's it gonna be? Oh, okay. I don't remember what this one's about, but this is When the Moon Was Ours. This actually sounds really good. So this is When the Moon Was Ours by Anna-Marie McLemore. Not the rapper, different spelling. So it is about 2 friends, Miel and Sam. Miel has roses that grow out of her wrist, and Sam can paint really beautiful moons that he hangs in trees. And no one really knows about where Sam came from or his past. So they're best friends and very odd, as they are, you know, really close. But even they know to stay away from these 4 sisters. What's their names? The Bonner sisters, who are rumored to be witches. And they soon come after Miel for the roses that grow out of her wrist because they believe that the scent of those roses can make anyone fall in love. So it sounds a little bit like a sort of magical realism thriller. And there's witchy vibes, which, you know, is amazing. Grade, I'm wondering if it's middle grade. Oh, it's YA. And there's LGBT representation. Love it. Okay, last one is Faith. Only have a few in here, but there could be some odd. There's a few odd ducks in here. So we'll see what happens. Let's go with this one. Okay, here we go. Ooh, feels like a long one. Okay, I don't remember what this one's about either, but it is Finding Truth. So this is Finding Truth, and it is all about basically unmasking things like atheism and secularism and other god substitutes. This is by Nancy Pearcey. She was a former agnostic, and so she writes about her own collective experiences in discovering God and then defending her faith against what the world tells her is true. Basically, she explores the motivations of each of these beliefs and sort of weighs their claims compared to faith. So it sounds like a very interesting academic read, which is really good. And I love books that take the subject very seriously, and it's not about necessarily arguing, what's the word I'm looking for? A side or an opinion, but it is just an exploration of the academic side of all of these worldviews, and then comparing it to personal testimony, which is what good, well-rounded arguments should be. Anyway, so that's Finding Truth. Let's do the rundown, shall we? We're doing Alice in Wonderland, East of Eden, Paradise Lost, Cosy, When the Moon Was Ours, and Finding Truth. Okay. That's a big month. Probably the most random that this game has ever been, but I'm not looking forward to some. I am medium looking forward to others, and I'm really excited about a few. So, you know, you get what you get. Okay, let's talk about Summerween. I'm so excited. So their prompts are, the first one is to read a book in the dark or at night. And I think this is generally just a prompt that's supposed to mean read one of the books you pick at night. But I'm picking a specific book for this. It's one that I started a week or so ago, and that is House of Leaves by, I can't remember the author's name. I'll put a picture up here. Danielewski, I think is it. Danielewski is the last name. This book, I'm only a week in, I'm only 11% done, and I already know that I cannot read this at night. It is so terrifying, at least for me, and it's the kind of thing that really creeps me out. And so I'm gonna force myself during this entire Summerween to read only this book at night. So anytime I want to read this book, I have to make sure it's at night. I'm gonna see if I can do every night. We'll see. I'm terrified. I'll talk more about the book when I do my actual Summerween reading vlog. But yeah, I'm so scared. The next book is to, or the next prompt is to read a book with Halloween covers on the color. Wow, I cannot speak today. To read a book with Halloween colors on the cover. And so I watched Olivia Reads a Latte's introduction video to Summerween, and she said, you know, red, orange, black, or the sort of pop art colors, which are like the electric green, bright purple, black, you know, those kinds of colors. And there's been one book that as soon as I read this prompt, I was like, yes, I know exactly which book I'm gonna pick, and that is The Box in the Woods by Maureen Johnson. It just looks so perfect. I know that this is part of a series, the Truly Devious series, but it is a standalone novel, and I was like, oh, this looks so good. I was like, I don't want to have to read another series to get to this book, but it is a standalone. I have been wanting to read something by Maureen Johnson for a long time, and yeah, it just looks so insane. That bright purple cover just screams Halloween. Even though it's in the summertime, it's like the perfect combination. Murder mystery to summer camp for Summerween. I love it so much. Okay, the next prompt is to read a book with haunt in the title. Okay, and so I decided to read, or to pick This House is Haunted by John Boyne. Very turn of the screw in vibes. All about a governess looking after two kids in a haunted house. It sounds so good. Oh, and I'm kind of also glad that I'm not reading this one at night too. The next prompt is to read a slasher, and I contemplated many books for this prompt because it is not a genre that I have read a lot of, but there is one particular author that I have been hearing so much about that people have been telling me to read, so I decided to pick up The Final Girl Support Group. I know people are probably going to sound off that that's not the book I should start with, but it's the one that catches my eye all the time. Like, the cover is stunning. I think I'm going to start with that one, and we'll see if, you know, people's mixed reviews of it stand up, or whether this is going to be one that makes me pee my pants. And then the final prompt is to make a pumpkin treat, you know, something pumpkin related, and I happen to have a can of pureed pumpkin in my pantry right now, so I'm kind of thinking maybe some pumpkin cinnamon rolls to go along with my reading. I think that sounds pretty good. Anyway, July is going to be a busy reading month for me. I got some big boys to tackle, and also Summerween. I can't decide if I want to do daily vlogs or a weekly reading vlog. let me know what you guys think. I would love to know. And if you're participating in Summerween, let me know in the comments. I would love to, you know, maybe do some buddy reads with you if you want, or to check up on progress of what you're reading. If you are reading any of the books that I'm reading this month or have read them, let me know your opinions down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, if you are excited for a new month of reading, go ahead and give this video a like and subscribe to my channel. As always, a big thank you to the friends and family who have readily supported me on this journey. It truly means the world to me, and I can't wait to see what's on the next spooky page. Cheers!